welcome to the chat room. We are discussing gay marriages. Woohoo! And we have Reverend Brent Hawks here with us. This is an honor. And we have Kevin Bourassa and Joe Varnell here with us, who are going to be married this weekend in Toronto by Reverend Hawks. This is indeed an honor. And we have Sven Robinson on the phone. Mr. Robinson, thank you for joining us.
Sven is great, and it's an honor to be with you, and a delight to be with some real trailblazers. What Brent Hawks is doing and the MCC is doing with Kevin and Joe and a number of others is very exciting, because it's putting this issue on the agenda, and it's long overdue.
Well, I wanted, just before you go, Sven, I just wanted to invite the other members of my panel to ask you a question, too. I'm such a greedy hog. I'm sorry. He's a celebrity.
Well, Sven, we have never had an opportunity to talk with you, or for that matter, with any political leader. But we've been very proud, I think, as just Canadians, for the kind of groundbreaking work that you've been doing, along with other Canadians, because you're really making it possible for us to be here today.
A little bit about what's going down here in Toronto.
Sure. There are two things happening at the same time. There are a number of cases going forward of gay and lesbian couples in Toronto who've gone to City Hall and have tried to get a marriage license and have been denied it. And this is similar to the BC case, except in BC, the Attorney General said, we want to give it to you. But in Ontario, they're saying we don't want to give it to you. So they're going to court to fight for the right of a marriage license through City Hall. And we're supporting them. Our church are intervening on their behalf.
Is that the association Equality for Gays and Lesbians Everywhere that Sven mentioned?
Well, EGAL is an organization that takes on many issues, and they're certainly supportive of this.
Right, okay.
The second way to marry is the publication of bans. And that's the more traditional way, the more ancient way, the more churchy way. And this is a case where if a couple want to get married, they go to a pastor where one of them regularly attends. That's one of the requirements. And they say, will you marry us? If the pastor says yes, then they pick a date, and 3 Sundays, it's traditional that it's 3 Sundays, in the service, the pastor will get up and say, so-and-so and so-and-so want to be married. Does anyone know of any lawful cause why they should not? There's that pregnant pause when someone can stand up and object. And
pregnant pause, it's a shotgun wave.
And there are,
Bad use of terms.
There are some reasons why, in law, a couple may not. And why some legitimate objections might be raised in that setting, like if one of them's underage, if they're already married to someone else, or if they're brother and sister, can't marry close relatives. It is not lawful cause for someone to get up and say, for instance, that they won't marry someone because it's an interracial marriage or a same-sex couple. And so it's up to my job as the clergy person presiding to determine what is lawful cause. I'm given that right in law to make that decision. And certainly see some clear guidelines, as I've already mentioned. And then if there is no lawful cause, then the wedding proceeds, and in the wedding ceremony, when the couple sign the documents and the witnesses sign their documents, when I sign, they are officially married. I give the marriage license. And so that moment, when I take that section off the forms and give it to the couple, they are legally married. Now, you have to register that. I have to send in the documentation within 2 days. That doesn't affect the marriage. They're still married. I could go off on vacation. I could lose the material. I could never send it. They're still legally married. So on Sunday, at probably about 22 minutes after 2 or 25 minutes after 2, if my sermon's long-winded, when I sign those documents, Kevin and Joe and Ann and Elaine will be the first officially, legally married couple under a marriage license who are gay or lesbian anywhere in the world.
Government said that it may not consider you registered. Hopefully you're not registering at Ashley's.
Not yet, anyway. We couldn't agree on a China pattern, so unfortunately we wouldn't register at Ashley's.
Actually, if people want to send gifts or commemorate this kind of occasion, the best thing for them to do would be to support the church, because there is a chance that we're going to have a really long legal battle if the government doesn't do the right thing, and it's going to be an expensive one. So if they can support the Metropolitan Community Church.
Is there a website?
Yes, www.mcctoronto.com.
mcctoronto.com.
It's probably the only wedding gift that's tax deductible.
Excellent. Okay, now this is something that makes me, that's curious. A chick like me finds it less and less necessary in society to get married. It's a kind of up for grabs whether I will. Like the whole aspect of the man, like independent of my own little contemplations. Because no one's asked, in case you were wondering. But at the same time that I'm finding it less and less necessary to get married, it's interesting that same-sex couples are willing to admit that it's more and more necessary for them.
I wouldn't say necessary for us to get married. This is a choice that Kevin and I have made because it's right for us as a couple. You know, there are lots of relationships out there where people choose not to get married, and that's absolutely fine and wonderful. What this is really about is us having the right and the choice to marry should we so choose, and we choose to get married. So, you know, this is the person I want to spend the rest of my life with, and I want to stand up and not only have that recognized by my congregation and my community, but I also want it to be recognized by the people who are the leaders in my province and the leaders in my country. I want them to support my legal rights.
To talk, like, when I started to contemplate same-sex marriage, a bit more specifically, I realized there's like all kinds of logistical benefits. If you fall in love with someone who isn't of your nationality, they can't come to live with you unless you're married. You can't, it's not as easy for you to adopt a child unless you're married. And there's issues of pensions there's all kinds of implications.
If you were to fall in love with that future husband of yours in six months, you could be married to that man in 6 months. If Joe and I, although there is common law status here in Ontario, if Joe and I were in that position after 6 months and we really wanted to have the same status as common law without, or as married without being married, Joe, it wouldn't exist. Joe could be kicked off a hospital floor. Because I don't have the right to marry him after in 6 months.
That's right. Spouses are allowed to visit themselves in the hospital.
But if I was incapacitated for whatever reason, Kevin could be forbidden from even seeing me or having any say in my care. And, you know, this is the person I want to spend the rest of my life with. If I can't make the decision, I want him to be making that decision. And I shouldn't have to sign powers of attorney or do anything else that any other loving and committed couple, being a man and a woman, has the same right. We're not asking for special rights. All we're asking for is equal rights. We're just asking to be treated like anybody else.
And if he gets hit on the head with a thunderbolt and becomes a criminal, you don't want to have to testify against him.
If he gets hit on the head with a thunderbolt and becomes a criminal, I will bake him a cake with a file in it so he can get it.
That's love.
So do you have a reception planned for after the ceremony?
Yes, we have a private gathering away from the church, and I'm sorry to say away from the media, just with our friends and our family to celebrate with them. You know, this has been quite a journey for them as well.
However, you know, the wedding on Sunday is open to everyone. You do not have to be just family or friends to come to witness this historic event. We would like lots of supporters there inside the church.
That's so generous.
Not generous.
It's really selfish. We need that support. We need to understand that.
Are you kidding? People are going to be flooding out of that building. It's going to be like Madonna's wedding. People are going to be lining up. You have to set up video screens. Well, I just have a little surprise for you both, because we in the chat room are very excited, and you are going to love this.
Is it Sven?
Oh my Lord. I'm so delighted and gleeful to be able to present you. Oh, aren't you thrilled with this? Take a look, fellas.
Are we going to sing "We've Only Just Begun" by the Carpenters? Or,
Would you mind?
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
It is our first toaster, the very first one we've received.
No one else has given us a toaster. So.
The first toaster.
We look forward to many more.
What do you mean? Well, we just couldn't be happier for you. So, so am I to assume that I'm invited?
Oh, indeed.
Everyone is invited. Anyone who would like to come to the Metropolitan Community Church, 115 Simpson Avenue at
Toronto, Ontario.
Get there early, around 1:30 maybe.
So is the word marriage important?
Well, certainly communities are strengthened, in our opinion, by marriage. That's one of the reasons why Joe and I have chosen this. Just one of the reasons is that marriage brings with it the support of your family, the support of your friends. Indeed, it's something that you do in your community and engages your community. And we believe that our relationship, we're not advocating this for everyone, but we believe our relationship is strengthened by that through good times and through difficult times.
Am I to assume no one's had to sign any prenups? Those are so unromantic.
That's correct. There
No,
have been
no
prenups.
prenuptial agreements. I guess the only other reason to get married was, of course, for the toaster. Which
Oh, I think it's a gorgeous toaster. We are going to break now, and we couldn't congratulate you more. Woo! Everybody, round